Well, this week we're once again putting the unemployment rate to the smell test. The government, they've been telling us the jobless rate is holding steady at 8.2%. But one man's analysis of the data shows that the unemployment rate could actually be as high as 22%. So can we trust the data coming out of Washington on, well, from unemployment to inflation to all kinds of economic measures? Joining me now is economist and the creator of Shadow Government Statistics, John Williams. And John, your number came out this past week, and I looked at it, 22.9, I think, it's something like that. Why is your number so much different than the one that we get from the government?
Well, it's a matter of definition. If you went around the country and asked everyone whether or not he or she was unemployed, the average guy would give you a quick response. Doesn't have to think about it. Most people have a very solid opinion on that. The problem is that you'd get a much higher unemployment rate if you based it on such a survey as opposed to what the government puts out due to definition. The government actually puts out 6 measures of unemployment. Their headline number, the U3 unemployment rate, has people needing and wanting a job and willing and able to take a job. But the defining factor, what differentiates, is that the people in the headline unemployment have looked for work in the last 4 weeks. If people haven't found jobs, if they've been looking for a while and they give up looking for work because there aren't jobs to be had, the government no longer counts them in the headline number. It'll count them as a discouraged worker if they have looked for work in the last year, but not the last 4 weeks. That gets counted in the government's broadest measure, which is called U6. That also includes people working part-time for economic reasons. They can't find a full-time job. That U6 number is up at 14.9%, where the headline number is at 8.2%. But back in 1994, discouraged workers were counted forever. I mean, if you hadn't looked for work in the last 2 years, but you still were ready and able to take a job, you wanted a job, you considered yourself unemployed, the government counted you. It doesn't now.
Yeah,
so
and
what happens is,
I think that's a key point here is that in 1994 the government was doing the long-term unemployed. Was it what did they
right.
They stopped in 1994? And what's interesting is that you kept doing the same study. You just kept on doing that. What was it because of the fact there wasn't long-term unemployed people out there? Is that why they stopped it? And today we have them again.
I can't tell you why they stopped it, although there likely were political considerations because the whole series was revamped at the time. The data before 1994 are not comparable with the data after 1994. I estimate the long-term discouraged workers, those people that no longer are counted by the government, they move from being unemployed in the U3, then they move into the broader discouraged worker category in the U6. But after they leave U6, they're gone. I estimate the number, and you put that back in on top of the U6, you're looking at an unemployment rate around 23%, which is the high of the current cycle, or very close to it. It's the high of the post-World War II era. It's about 10 percentage points shy of what a comparable number would have been in the Great Depression.
Yeah, and there's the chart, and you can see the bottom line is at 8.2%. Then that U6, like you said, I like to refer to them as the short-term discouraged workers, the ones that aren't looking anymore. And then your number up there. But what's troubling is that the U6 and your number are going up. They're not going down.
That's right, because increasingly people are not able to find work, and they're falling into that discouraged or long-term discouraged category. It's a very bad circumstance. It's not an economic recovery. In fact, you can look at the payroll survey, which is the other side of the employment picture, where they count the number of jobs created. If you look at the level there, we've just recovered levels seen before going into the 2001 recession 11 years ago. We're still well shy of a recovery in the payroll employment. This is not an economic recovery.
One of the things every time this comes out on the first Friday of every month, a lot of people think there's some sort of political gamesmanship going on, especially when we're close to a presidential election. I've always chalked it up to the fact that you've got two different surveys, the payroll survey and the household survey. And then you got your survey. What's right?
All right. Well, Again, it's a matter of definition. If you want an estimate of where unemployment is as would reflect common experience of the American people, I'd give you my number.
Yeah, I think your number is probably more accurate as well. You are an interesting guy, and I appreciate you so much. Shadow Government Statistics, John Williams, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tom.